Hey YouTube, Repo Man 64. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things that have come up. A lot of animals, not just animals, there are actually bugs, ants going in circles. And somebody made a comment in the comment section of YouTube asking a good question, which I hadn't thought of. I thought about Jericho and marched around Jericho for 6 days. And then on the seventh day, they marched around it 7 times. So that's 13 days. This 11:11 has popped up so many times that if you add those 13 to those 11, you wind up on 24. And there's a lot of things pointing to 24. A lot of people have had dreams that the rapture would occur on a Thursday. I believe Tim Foster, 405, had I think it was him, that had somebody tell them that they had gone to sleep and or in a vision or a dream, and in their dream they asked God, what day is it going to happen? So, and a lot of people have had this dream that it's going to happen on a Thursday. The Bible says that I will turn their feast days into sorrow and mourning. Not his feast days, their feast days. And Thanksgiving is very much a feast day that belongs to, us here in the United States anyway. But I want to go through the pictures that I've saved up and talk about them and show you why that. And again, we're still watching. These are just high warning days that something could happen. It could happen at any moment. The fact that it hasn't really, there is a reason for it, and it's because the dead in Christ have not risen yet, and it is because we haven't seen a cataclysmic event that would require a harpazo where God is snatching us out of the way to save us, like a child in front of a car and somebody runs along and snatches him just before the car hits him. That is a harpazo. We haven't seen that event yet, and it's coming. We don't know the exact date, and I don't think God is toying with us and not telling us because he doesn't want us to know. I think he's not telling us because he doesn't want Satan to know the day. I believe Satan has thought that the day was going to occur several times in history, and I think that's what everything was set in place almost identical, not exactly because they didn't have the technology back then, but almost identical to what we're seeing today. We're in Auschwitz. They had they were, the Jews, the World War was going on. He was marking them and putting a number on there. I think it was on their wrist. And so Satan even thought that might perhaps be it. I don't think Satan knows the date. And I think God is holding that date close to himself. And there is nothing wrong. As a matter of fact, we're told to watch and to try to figure this out and to yearn for it, and we all do. And I think this is a moment of separation where those whose hearts weren't directly into this, thinking, it might happen, let me look, but it's not something that, it's like everything. The people that I see, that I talk to, that are watching, there is no other event that they're looking forward to. They want this event to happen more than anything. We're not complacent. This is what we want. This is what we've dreamed of. This is what we've researched and studied and done math, some of it acrobatic, but we still did it and we tried to figure it out. And I think that's the point. I think that's what God is looking for, honestly, is he told us to watch so many times. He never said, don't try to figure it out. Don't even bother trying to figure it out. He never said that. As a matter of fact, he said, if you don't watch, I will come upon you as a thief. So, and the one passage that everybody likes to run straight to is in Matthew 24:36. But if you read Matthew 24:35, you'll see what instance he's talking about, and that is the destruction of the world at the end of the millennium. So let's go through the pictures. All right, here, timeline number one. As you know, or I don't know if everyone here knows, but I've made this timeline based on what the first day of the year is. You can't know any of these things until you know the first day of the year. The first line is the equal lux. This is a day of equal parts. Anybody can go to time and date and look up March 16th and see that that is the first day of the year. You can see right there the date Noah leaves the ark. It's the 239th day of the year, and that happened on November the 11th. And millions of people are seeing 11/11, myself included as of late. It's not something that I have seen in the past, but I'm seeing it recently. And it's not just that I'm, opening my phone and seeing 11/11 or looking at my watch seeing 11/11. People are sending me random people that have no religion whatsoever, just things in my life, sending me, a message or a note or text or whatnot, and it coming across at 11:11. So it's not my mind trying, saying do this or look at this at this moment. It's happening all over the place. But I found something. I found something very interesting. Like I said from the very beginning, is that we cannot know when these events take place if we do not know what the first day of the year is. The 239th day of the year depends upon what the first day of the year is. Line number 1 is the day of equal parts. That is March 16th. Line number 2 is the equinox. This is the day the sun crosses over the equator. This is not the day of equal parts. There are not 12 hours in the day anywhere on the planet on that day. As far as I've seen all year long, as I've been figuring this out, there is nothing, nowhere that lands on this date. There are many things that land on timeline number 1. There's many things that land on timeline number 5, and some things that land on timeline number 3. I've never seen anything land on timeline number 2 or timeline number 4. Timeline number 3 is the first sliver of the moon after the sun crosses over the equinox, over the equator. Number 4 is the Creator's calendar. This is, and again, I'm not saying that over the year, there might have been other years where everything was happening on those calendars. I don't know, but I've studied this year, and so far, nothing has hit. But the Creator's calendar is the full moon after the sun has crossed over the equator. And timeline number 5 is spoken of in the Bible, which is why it interests me, and that is when the first sliver of the moon appears after the sun is in Aries. Each one of these dates on Heshvan 27, 1 year and 10 days after the flood began, Noah leaves the ark into a sin-free, brave new world. Sin, of course, starts up almost immediately as soon as he gets off the ark. They have every opportunity to not sin, but they are in sinful flesh, and of course they will, and this is the result that we see today. We are all descendants of everyone who was on the ark. Every single one of us is a descendant of somebody that was on that ark. Noah and his wife, Noah's 3 sons, and Noah's 3 sons' wives. There were 8 people on the ark. 8 is the number of perfection with God. So, November the 11th, nothing happened. We all saw 11/11, November the 11th, nothing happened. But I have found something, and I don't know how to put it on a timeline. But I have found that in 1582, the church literally removed 10 days from the calendar, which we have to add back. And our year is not exactly, or our day is not exactly 24 hours. So over the course of 100 years, they have to add a day since 1582 when they did that. And so, or it's 100, I think it's 120 years. At any rate, there should have added 3 more days to those 10 days that they removed from the calendar. So for me, tomorrow being a Thursday, being their feasts that they will turn into sorrow, being 13 days, the 10 days that they remove from the calendar, and the 3 days that we have to add in, or the 1 day per year that we, or 120 years that we have to add in, bringing us to November the 24th, and I'm going to show you that now. I did that last week. That's my timeline. Okay, so this is, I think this is 5doves.com. I don't know if, again, Tim Foster posted this, but in one of my few rapture dreams, I said, I cannot believe the rapture is on a Thursday. So a lot of people are having, just like the 11:11 people are seeing, a lot of people are seeing that the rapture would occur on a Thursday. Even they'll ask, I don't want the exact date, just tell me what day. And the response has been Thursday. Well, you have 52 chances a year for that rapture to occur on a Thursday, and we have a Thursday coming up tomorrow. I wanted to point this out to you. I did a little math on when Jesus went to the cross, and here in 29 AD, if Jesus went to the cross on the 30th, I'm going to show you. Let me show you this real quick. Look what they did. Where did it go? In 1582 was the year that they simply changed it in October, so that in March, on March 11th, became March 21st. They moved it 10 days so that the 21st would be when the solstice or when the sun crossed over the equator. Okay, try to follow me here on this. So throughout since 1582, those 10 days have disappeared. We have to add them back, and the 3 days per 100 years since they did this. The calendar previous to 1582 adjusted for that. This calendar does not. They simply add a day every 120 years or so. And I'll show you that too. Which means that November the 11th, 11/11 is actually November the 24th. And if you look down here in October, in 1582, this particular program that's in my phone, in my iPhone, did not remove those 10 days. Those 10 days have been put back in, which means something happens when you count back to when Jesus went to the cross. I know Jesus went to the cross on the 30th of March. I know that, and I know it has to land on a Wednesday. I never knew about those 10 days, and when I add the other 3 days, and when I add them back in to make the correction, the date does not land on a Wednesday on 29 AD. However, in 33 AD, March the 30th, if you count the 13 days in there, does land on March the 30th. If you start your year on timeline number 1 with the day of equal parts. The most surreal part of implementing a new calendar came in October of 1582 when 10 days was dropped from the calendar to bring the vernal equinox from March 11th back to March 21st. The church had chosen October to avoid skipping any major Christian festival, so that you can see that they did that. We've known about this for more than 400 years that this happened. I guess I took a picture. This is happening right now as we speak. Right now, as you're listening to this video, this is happening right now. And you'll see Sherry Delville has made this comment in my Discord. And I thought it was so cool that she found this. And she says, double portion of spirit. Now, this is, remember, when Elijah and Elisha, Elisha told Elisha, if you see me go, you will get my mantle, or my coat, and you will receive a double portion. And here she's speaking about this. This is a connection I hadn't made before, which I thought was really spectacular that she did. Double portion of spirit. Now, having said that, on the 23rd in the constellation, we have two conjunctions in the claws of Scorpio, Venus and Mercury in the left claw, and the sun and the moon in the right claw. She says, just wow. And she said something Deuteronomy 14:6 believes into the two claws. So that's happening right now, in this moment right now. Okay, a lot of stuff is coming out about this circling thing. Here we have cows. I believe this is in Spain. We have cows walking in a circle. Here we have deer. And normally they're just standing around, and everybody, and I've seen so many comments, they have listeria. No, they don't. They are healthy. These animals are healthy. If they had listeria, the sheep that they found walking in circles for 12 days straight would have passed over and died after the first or second day. They were doing that for 12 days straight. They do not have listeria. Something is going on right now on our planet that these animals are sensitive to that we are not sensitive to. And that's what's causing them to go in a circle. It has nothing to do with them being sick in any kind of way. There's the sheep that have been doing it or had been doing it for 12 days. I haven't seen if they're still doing it or if that's over with now. So we're back to this. This is Acts 1:11. He's also in the Discord. I believe he has a YouTube. I'm pretty sure I'll have to look. I don't remember. Sorry about that. I think he does have YouTube. 1124 Gregorian calendar, the one we use, is equivalent to 1111, the old Julian calendar used before the change to Gregorian. So, again, another confirmation that November 24th is 1111, that 1111 that everyone sees, 13 days apart. When they marched around the walls of Jericho, they did it for 6 times, and then on the 7th day, they did it 7 times for a total of 13. There's a 13-day difference in our calendar. Here is this difference is 13 days. It's too hard to go through this. I suppose I could post it on my Discord, but they talk again about the dates. In 2100, they will have to add a day. So it'll make it 14 days from the 11th in the year 2100 because of the issue with the sun, with the Earth going around the sun. 12-day difference. Someone asked me. So this comes across quite a bit, and I wanted to show you. Our Bible says, "Is it not written in the book of Jasher?" If you'll go to the book of Jasher, you can look up this passage. This is in the book of Jasher, verse 5. Is it what is it? What is it? Verse? It's I forget how you call that. It's I guess it would be verse 34 of 5. We'll just say it that way. Verse 34 of 5. In his and again. Everyone knows the Bible story that God told him 120 years in advance that he was going to flood the earth. And so many think that he built that ark for 120 years. He did not build the ark for 120 years. He built the ark for 5 years. He built the ark when his grandfather passed away. And I want to say that was Lamech. I believe that was Lamech, but don't quote me on that. Methuselah's father. I think Lamech was Methuselah's father. Methuselah died 7 days before the flood began, on the very day that God told Noah to get into the ark. This is the day Methuselah died. You can read about that also in the book of Jasher. He did not want to be counted amongst the wicked, so Methuselah died 7 days before the flood began. Here we have Noah, and it clearly says in his 595th year. You know that Noah got on that ark when he was 600 years old. In his 595th year, Noah commenced to make the ark. He made the ark in 5 years as the Lord had commanded. This is where I get this from. He was ordered 100, and what did he do for 115 years? But warn everyone that there was a flood coming, and nobody believed him. And 5 years before the flood came, he began building the ark, which he completed. He began building the ark when, I believe it was Lamech, died. 5 years is the age of grace. The age of grace ends in 5 years. If they had any studying of their Bible, and I believe their Bible was Enoch. I believe the Bible that has been carried through the flood by Noah and hidden in the mountains over there, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and over in the Dead Sea. Uh, I believe that is Enoch's Bible. Honestly, I believe all that information, and many people will tell you that it's how do you say it's blasphemy or whatnot to read it, and that's just not true. Enoch was a very, very important person in the Old Testament. God loved him so much, he took him and showed him the inner workings of all of time and everything. Enoch is the one that set up the 364-day year and the day out of time, and Enoch is a very important character in the Bible of the Old Testament, and he was taken, he was raptured without dying. He is a perfect example of what the bride is looking forward to. So Enoch is not, and they're saying, well, these texts were written hundreds of years, and that's fine. We can say that these texts about Enoch were written hundreds of years later because there were people that either, I don't know, word of mouth or whatnot, but it made it through the flood. But then we have this book of Enoch, and then they find the Dead Sea Scrolls, and they match perfectly. They literally match perfectly. So this, and again, our Bible says that the book of Jasher, right there, 5 years he built the ark. 7 days before Methuselah died. Methuselah, the son of Enoch, that's the son of Enoch, died. He died in 960 years old, 969 years old, to his death. Okay. Again, happening right now. Let's see here. People are sending me this stuff. It says now there are now videos of chickens and ants circling things besides sheep. Do hearing things like this make you want to believe this could be a sign of the Lord coming? Or are you looking to reason away these strange videos because you were in no hurry for his coming? I guess he's posted this somewhere, and I found it, and then I copied it down. But chickens and ants circling. So I went on a search. There's some ants circling. You see a leaf down there, a piece of paper. These are ants that are doing this. We've never seen this before, but ants are doing this. I wonder if they have listeria. Turkeys are also circling. In this particular video, there's a dead cat in the center, and they are circling this dead cat. I wonder what prophetic meaning that has. And turkeys are circling a tree. We have the cows circling. I believe this is in Spain. We have ants circling a rock. Looks like Jericho. We have fish. This, of course, is a video, and I can't really show it very well, but they put a light in the water, and you can see the fish are swimming in a circle. Again, ants are marching in a circle. Give them a shout out. I have a couple of YouTube channels to recommend. This, before I do that, this is from Melissa. And this is where I got that from, which I thought was an amazing connection that she made. I'm just spitballing because I feel, I'll forget if I say I'm going to fact check. I'll just forget and then not even look. So, is it possible, and this is what I liked about this comment she made on YouTube, is it possible the connection with the sheep walking in a circle could be when Moses led the Israelites in the desert after they were freed? Now remember, they went to where they were supposed to go in the land of Canaan. They were supposed to go across to their new Israel, and then they got a bad report, and so God made them wander the desert for 40 years. And guess what they did? They walked in a circle. They walked in a circle for 40 years. While they were walking in that circle, did you know that their clothes did not get old? They ate manna from heaven. They did not get tired. They just walked. They did that for 40 years. Now we have a good connection with 40 right there. I don't know what date to begin with, but what would 40 added to it end up at? Now you can see I'm watching Dr. Barry's video at the bottom. He's talking about Hanukkah as being a high rapture date, which I have Hanukkah on the timeline at December the 8th as the beginning of Hanukkah. The end of Hanukkah being December the 16th, and I believe that's when they're starting Hanukkah on the other maps as well, on other timelines as well. So I thought this was pretty cool. She found this, and I didn't think about this, but yes, when Moses led the Israelites into the desert after they were freed, it all I've always been under the assumption that when God led them, they seemed to roam, but the desert isn't that big. They probably went in circles. I felt like God was humbling them in the desert. And she asked, could there be a connection? Yes, there could be a connection to that. Very good, Melissa. Thank you. So the shout out, Equal Symphony. She's the one that worked on my comments. She's a very good channel. I love it. Her subscribers have gone. Again, these subscribers are super important. I recommend that you subscribe to all of these channels, not because, and honestly, her and I are pretty much on the same page with everything. I'm not always on the same page perfectly with all of the people that I say you should subscribe to, but the reason I say that is because some of these videos are going to make it through, and some of these videos are going to be very, very important to the saints of the tribulation. I don't know if those 6 seals are opened up in 6 days, or if God shortened the time to 5 months for the very sake of the elect, and those 6 seals are opened up in 5 months. I know that the 7th seal is the trumpet, so all of this stuff occurs throughout the 6 seals. The 4th seal is the 4th horse rider. The 5th seal are the martyrs crying from under the altar. And the 6th seal, we see this great multitude appearing in heaven, holding palm branches. They don't have crowns. They don't have rods of iron. They don't have brilliant white robes. They had to wash their robes in the blood of the Lamb to be there. This is the 6th seal. I don't believe the single seal's been opened yet, and that we're going to be there to witness the very first seal to be opened. Just like the sea of glass, the 24 elders that cast their crowns, that's us. We're going to cast our crowns. We're there with them. We're going to witness this whole thing with John. And of course, looking up, she has a fantastic Facebook, and she does a lot of work in there. And a lot of the stuff I just found with the circling things came from her Facebook, and then she does have a YouTube. We'd like to see her subscribers getting built up as well to make it through the rapture into the tribulation, which I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow. I wish it did. I really wish it did. But Ken Potter, where have you been, sir? I haven't heard from you in 3 weeks. What's going on? We need to ask a watchman back out, or my 2 cents. He has a lot of good contact. Love Ken Potter's videos. What else is there? Todd Rushton, you've been quiet. I show 5 months ago. That's not right. Something's wrong with my YouTube. I know that he's made videos more recently than 5 months ago, but Todd Rushton is also an avid watcher and trying to figure out this date as well. So I promote his channel. He only has 243 subscribers. It'd be nice to go subscribe to his channel and get it built up. So let's get his information through the rapture into the hands of the tribulation saints, so that they can have some information that will help them figure out when their day is coming. Is it 6 days? Is it 5 months? Is it 3.5 years? I don't know. I know that God turns his attention back to Israel. It doesn't say he turns his attention back to Israel. And part of it, I'm going to also kind of pay attention to this massive group that no man can count. At the same time, I've diverted my attention back to Israel. So and nobody, and I mean nobody, has been able to come in and tell me any information proving to me that the first 6 seals are not opened up in 6 days or 5 months. Nobody can definitively tell me that. And when you read it, if you read it, it's, here, John, look over here. Here, John, look over there. Here, John, look. Oh, and then there's this great multitude. Who are they? It was very quick succession. The first 6 seals are very fast. And when a horseman is released, he doesn't just go in and all of a sudden everybody's starving. He goes in and begins his work of starving the world. And a lot will say that that's already happening, but I just ate at McDonald's. I'm fine. And I know the whole world couldn't do that, but the whole world hasn't been able to do that for the past, 500 years. There's been hunger for the past 2,000 years. That's what's been going on. I'm talking about you sitting in your house not being able to eat because there is no food on the shelves anywhere, and that's just not happening right now. So, and a loaf of bread is not costing you a day's pay or 2 days' pay. It's just simply not happening yet. So, these horsemen, I don't believe the seals are opened up yet. Personally, I believe the rapture comes first, and then we're going to see the seals opened up. But here's Mike Grotos. He does a pretty good job as well. Subscribe to him. I think I'm done. Yes, I'm done. I don't want to go on too long, and I'm looking at, like, from now because of what's happening in the claws of Scorpion, and I'm looking at tomorrow because it is a Thursday, and it is our feast day. I don't think this feast day exists anywhere else in the world except the United States, so the Thursday might have been for the rest of the world, and our feast day might have been, I don't know. But I am looking at tomorrow, and then after that, I will be looking at Hanukkah on December the 8th, and I'll come back and obviously make a video before December the 8th. That's 2 weeks away. But keep looking up. We know it's going to happen. The Bible tells us so. There's been a million things in the Bible that said was going to happen. Israel becoming a nation? Who would have thought it? Literally, my grandparents barely spoke English. They are Scandinavian. They're German. They barely spoke English. My parents were born here. I was born here. I don't speak German, not one word. I lost my culture that fast, as do all races. I know a lot of Latin people that do not speak Spanish. I'm fluent in Spanish, but they don't speak Spanish. But they were born here, second, third generation. They lost it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. They assimilated into the culture that they're in. A lot of people, I would imagine there's a lot of Americans that have gone to foreign countries and have assimilated into that country and forgot their language. There's one group of people, by miracle, that no one can claim, no other race can claim anywhere on the planet, that they held on to their culture for all those years since 70 AD, since being removed and scattered amongst the world. They held on to their language, their culture, their customs, their religion, everything. They hung on to all of it. And it is a miracle of God. The Jews are being called back to Israel, and they speak their language, and they have everything that God said they would have when they returned. They didn't walk around confused like, what am I doing here? They held on to everything. So it's a miracle that on May 14th of 1948, Israel became a nation once again. And there's so many things in the Bible that says that, like that miracle alone right there. There's so many miracles just like that we know the Bible is true. So therefore, the Bible being true, we are going, and I don't think God's hiding this date from us. I think he's hiding it from Satan. So he wants to tell us, but he can't, because if he did, Satan would know. And Satan's first order of business would be to try to take us out before the rapture happens. And Satan knows it's close, but he doesn't know exactly when. I don't believe that. Everybody's like, oh, he knows exactly. He's from heaven. I'm like, yeah, I don't. I think Jesus, when he made that comment that God only knows, tongue in cheek, he's God. God only knows, and that's the end of it. And that's the way it's supposed to be, all the way up until the second the rapture happens, which we're just dreaming of that moment to happen. So go to a quiet place by yourself, and nobody needs to know, and you don't need to tell anybody, and have a quiet, intimate moment between you and your Creator, and accept the Lord into your heart. And like, comment, and share, and subscribe to all those videos I showed you. It's super important that it makes it through the rapture. I wish I had a more solid date, but I don't think God is going to let us know. Amos 3:7 guarantees that we're going to know. And did he do that when he said it's going to happen on a Thursday? Did he do that when he said it's going to happen, on I'm going to turn your feast days into sorrow? Did he tell us, and can he? Of course he can. He's God. And when we get to heaven, we're going to be like, but you didn't tell me the exact date. He's like, but I did. I told you exactly, and here it was. And yeah, but we were so clouded by all these other things. Not my fault. I still told you. And so I think that part of the promise on Amos 3:7 will hold. Of course, it's going to hold. It's God's Bible. It's His Word. Flesh became, or the Word became flesh. So, alrighty. Yeah, that's it. Keep watching. And if you guys have anything, please don't hesitate. I love those comments like that. It's so helpful. It really helps me know that you're really interested in this and you really want to help. And that's what iron sharpens iron, right? You're supposed to keep watching, keep trying to help out and try to figure this out. And when you go in there, say, you're wrong again. Yes. I would be like, yes, Captain Obvious, you are correct. I am wrong. But a lot of us are trying to figure it out, and it's a labor of love for me. I've been trying to figure out timelines for a very long time, but I'm not going to stop. You see me? I'm tired of watching. It's been 2 years, and I'm just Rapture worn out. I have timelines like in the corner, like this has been in this box. I've got timelines from, the bottom just fell out. Now I have paper everywhere. But I have timelines that I had on the wall that I just put times on and stuff. But I realized really quick that none of them mattered until you knew the first day of the year. None of it matters until you know the first day of the year. So, all right. Try to keep this video short. I hope this is short. I always go over. And we'll chat with you. If anything pops up or I see anything, I'm going to run straight to YouTube and get on here. I mean, just the circling things, that's wild. That's absolutely wild. It's not, let me say this, it's not listeria. It's not listeria. Sheep don't walk around in circles for 12 days and not die. I'm sorry. That's just, listeria kills them after a couple of days. So, all right, I'll chat with you later.